How it feel to be a dad, how it feel to be a man. You provide by any means, and we sticking to the plan. Yeah, I do this for my seed. Come and listen, come and see. Remember, it was just me. Now it's all about me. Lead by example, this for my child. I swear that I got you for life. Went from the court to talking about buckets, now we talking Pampers and wipes. I really love this though. Look at you and get inspired. You the fuel to my fire. Come here, let me change your diaper. Diaper dash.
Listen, man, we back and we at it. It's your boy GQ.
It is your boy Book. Let's get straight to it. I ain't got time to bullshit with you guys.
Hold on. First, let me hear something about the Burna Boy. What you been saying? You've been playing the Burna Boy?
I've been bumping the Burna Boy lately. Like this is as of today. Not today. No, not as of today. Not as of today. As of like yesterday. Yesterday for the last 24 hours, I've been bumping this shit. You know, you gotta open your palate these days in life. You feel me? You can't just be single-minded and shit. So
how you like the Shiloh joint? I need Shiloh.
I ain't got that far yet. All right, I ain't get that far. Listen, my new joint, my favorite joint, that I've listened to is Level Up. I've been bumping that shit all day today.
Oh, Level Up. Okay.
I remember when I couldn't level up. Grammys had me feeling sick as fuck, throwing up and shit. That's my shit. But anyway,
hold on. Hold on. One more last thing, because I was asking someone this. Does Jay Crowder not look like Burna Boy?
100%. 100%. 100%. If they say he don't, they're a fucking liar, bro. And Jay Crowder's just a 6'6" version of him, bro, or vice versa. No, okay. Now that we settled that, but yeah, no, Burna Boy, fire, definitely. You know me, I've dibbled and dabbled in the country because I went to school in West Virginia and I had to fit in where I get in. You know what I mean? I'm already a hip hop head and all that shit, but the Burna Boy, that's just wearing on me. That shit's pretty solid.
Yeah.
All right. So listen. So I had this random ass thought one day, and it happens all the time. Whether anytime we see somebody on the news, right? Any young active shooter or young person who has been arrested for something, you know what I mean? Like with current news times. Rest in peace, Jaden Walker. Fuck off these other mass shooters, the little piece of shit in Chicago, motherfucking Buffalo. Still fuck Dylan, whatever his name is, from South Carolina, to the day I die. But it's always one statement that comes out after every moment, whether good or bad, right? Or ugly, right? Like if somebody loses their son to gun violence by police, it's always, oh, he was a church, like the Jaden Walker kid, it was always, he was a church going boy. He's been, must have been going through some pain and he never would do something like this. And vice versa. When it comes to these mass shooters, it's like their parents always like, oh, I can't believe he would do this. He was always a loving, caring, blah, blah, blah. But then it draws another question to me. It's like, yo, as parents, how the fuck don't you know? Like, what aren't you doing right? Right? And hear me out before you give me the GQ excerpt. As a parent, you always control the situation, no matter how old your kid is, right? At adolescent stage, like starting from the beginning of time, as they're toddlers, you control their environment, right? You control how they feel because they act off how you feel. You control how they handle themselves in public because they watch you, vice versa. Transition on to later years, you know what I mean? As teenagers, parents still control the environment. They tell you what you can and can't do. You like in my household, it was always don't burn the house down, don't have the cops knocking on my door, don't get nobody pregnant, and bring home good grades, right? As long as you do those 4 things, everything you pretty much can do everything you can do everything you want to within reason of your age, right? Like you're 15, 17, you want to go to parties, cool, we can do that. But within a certain limit. There's a limit to everything. So like, how do these parents like sit here and say this shit when it's like there had to have been a sign somewhere?
I think for the most part, yeah, I think there are some signs. But then also I want to like just think about, you said like the parents are supposed to know everything. One thing I'm thinking about that's making me laugh, I know the situation is serious, but like porn, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Right? That's a great situation, man. Yo, growing up, man, I was a porn head. Yo, I used to get caught all the time.
You got caught. You're a fucking loser, bro. You get caught. That's crazy.
All the time. I used to like print shit out, like
print it out. Oh, you were an addict, bro.
I got one of the crazy stories. I remember one time, we was in Owens Mills, and we had the apartment complex has like the center, right, where you work out, got the fitness laptop. Why one day, me and my cousin, we had printed out a bunch of shit, and I remember till this day he always brings this shit up, and we be laughing. I had like a bunch of it like in my pocket, like just it was sticking out my pocket. And I remember getting in the car, and my mom's like, yo, what is all of that? Lawrence, I kid you not, he still jokes about it. I was like, oh, just a bunch of documents.
The whole time, this motherfucker 10 years old talk about documents. We didn't start talking documents till he was in high school. What the fuck you talking about documents?
Sixth grade, telling my mom, it's a bunch of documents. But I bring the whole porn situation.
Wait, we not gonna skate past this. First of all, there's a bunch of red flags. That's why that was a loser move. You fucking went to the community center at the apartment complex where everybody goes to print out. You basically printed out a smut book. You basically printed out okay, all right. I just want it for the record. Okay, but anyway, you bring up the porn situation because it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, because just I feel like that is an innocent. It's one of the most innocent things that kids do that parents are not really familiar with, right? Some parents are because they might be monitoring certain things. They got parental guidance on certain devices and stuff like that.
God, I'm in trouble. This is gonna be a long night, but okay, yes.
Parental guidance on some things, and because they know, that's something that kids might dabble in. But there's a lot of parents out there, I guarantee you, they'll tell you, I never knew my kid was watching porn, or I never knew they were doing this, that, and the third. And I just say that to say, a parent, just because, they are the parent, they are in the household, and they have the idea of they think they know what their kid's doing. I feel like sometimes they don't, especially at a certain age. I think after that 16 age, and kids start thinking they know everything and doing what they want and being in their feelings and hiding certain things, I feel like parents are kind of lost sometimes.
So do you think that they're not that they don't, is it that they don't know, or that they are neglecting it? There's a difference.
I think it could be both. Right? Because I know a bunch of people that, were watching porn, this, that, and the third, and I don't think their parents knew that they were doing that. And I knew kids, for example, I know kids that smoke weed. We know kids that smoke weed. Their parents didn't know. And Lord forbid, I hope parents aren't trying to neglect that, right? I hope they're not trying to turn the other cheek and be like, oh, my kid smokes this, that, and the third. But I think there's a lot of parents out there that aren't familiar, or they're not aware of certain things that their kids do. And that's not to say they're bad parents. That just goes to say, like, sometimes they're just busy. Like my mom worked all the time. And one thing about my mom and her job, when she worked at the airlines, they never had like the Friday and the Saturday and Sunday off. That wasn't normal. It was like 2 days out of the week. It was like, I think it was like a Monday or Wednesday, or sometimes she might have been off like on Sunday and Monday, back-to-back days. So, parents they got different things going on, and sometimes they get caught in living in their world too. But I don't think a lot of parents are neglect it.
You giving too much leeway to these parents. I don't give a fuck what you're saying right now. And I get, but I respect the moms, dudes, because my mom is similar, right? My mother left the house at 4:30 every morning, got home at 5, and she was driving. And for those that are tuning in, she would drive from Howard County all the way down to Andrews and back.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who knows that hike, that's a fucking hike. And then she would work all day, but she still knew exactly what I was doing when I was doing it. Now, granted, it could be more of a respect thing, and in the sense of like, she demands, like, as a parent, she demands to know what I'm doing, and not to be on some like controlling shit, but she just needs to know where I'm at just in case some shit went south. She was a single parent, so I get it.
Yeah.
Right? But it doesn't give an excuse to a parent who sits back and to me, in my mind, the I didn't know doesn't make sense to me. For most situations. Some situations, yes, I get it. There's some things that I'm probably not going to know about the twins, but I guarantee you I'm going to know everything else, just so I know that I can help guide them through whatever they're going through, whether it be.
Yeah, but you also got to remember this too. At a certain age, it's like kids become very dependent. Right?
I get that, but it also comes down to the simple fact, like it comes back down to the respect level of how you set yourself up as a parent, right? We always tell, they don't teach us, but theoretically, you're a parent first, best friend second, right?
Yeah.
For most households, you know what I mean? Like your best friend first, you're a parent first, best friend second. So you already laid that establishment out. So when it comes to those situations where they want to go do this, so they want to come to you talking about a girl, they're talking to a boy, they're talking to this, that, or third, you know what I mean? Like you got it's a fine line to walk. So it's like, how can you even mouth those words that, oh, I didn't know my son was going through this to where he wanted to kill some. I'm taking it to the extreme because that's just what we see day to day, because every parent that I've seen from every mass shooter so far has been, oh, my son he was a great kid. He was a wholesome kid. He went to church. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't make sense that how could you not be that in tune with your child with something that's of that magnitude? So, other things, porn and shit like that. Yeah, I get that. But like, you never saw the signs of your son like going through like deep depression and things of that nature. Like, you didn't see his mood swings. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I'm saying, but who is us to say we know the characteristics or the way people act for those mass shootings, right? And the reason I say that, I'm about to give you a lot of examples, right? How many parents can say they knew their kids were selling drugs, right? Okay. There's a lot of parents out there that like, yo, what the fuck you doing? Why the fuck you got them drugs in my house? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Well, that's another example. It's not really a parent standpoint, but it's more of like, it has to do with family member or your partner. There's people out there that are serial killers. There's people out there that are molesters. There's people out there that do a lot of bad things and they're around their family members and you would never know because people are very, very good at putting up a disguise.
100%.
And I feel like when you go through certain things in life, and men do this too, women do it too, and we're not even bad guys, just human in general. We have something in our body, or we just had that mentality where like, yo, if we want to hide something, we had the capability of doing that shit. We had the capability of doing that shit. And it starts, and I think it starts at that young age too, of like that 16-year-old age, where another great example is people being gay. Damn, I never knew my son was that. I never knew my daughter was gay. But you got to think about it, like young teenagers, when they go through something or their body go through something, they immediately think to themselves like, yo, how can I cover this up? How can I make myself blend in? How can I become a gecko in this situation? And I think that's the kind of the reasoning or like the explanation of like how people don't know. Like humans are just naturally good at like just like blending in and just hiding certain shit.
So let me ask you this. So throughout these situations that you've given us, right, these examples, there hasn't been my mental is this: as a parent, you should know your kid better than your kid knows himself, right? Because you've been down that walk before. They're yours. They're your blood. You've raised them to where they're at, right? You mean to tell me there's never been a sign of something happening? And it may not even be a simple switch of like them becoming from a happy to a serial killer, or they're fascinated with guns. More so just like a slight switch in their mentality, their emotional perspective. You know what I mean? Like, he seems a little off. Like, let me check in. Like, for instance, like, as much as we try to, and this might sound like this is a very, like, dumb, very, very low example in the sense of, like, of the grand scale of things we're talking about. But, like, my mom knows when she knows when I'm fucked up in the head. And I try my hardest to mask it up, but I just always come out. It just naturally comes out of my body, right? There's always going to be something that's going to be a sign to your parent. So how can we sit here and say that we never knew when we're not paying attention to the signs more so?
I think not every parent is a parent, right?
Okay. All right. Okay. So is it safe to say, not going to say safe to say, because all these parents, they're going through a traumatic experience, whether it be those who have been killed, those who've done the killing. It's still traumatic as fuck for the parent, because the parent has done no wrong, right? It's a child. Yeah. Are they not parents?
They are parents, and I feel like that's the accountability that you're holding them towards, right? You're saying like, hey, you have a kid, and why are you not knowing what's going on, right? But we talked about this maybe in season 2 about parents. Like, we talked about being there like half the time or not being present at all. You know what I mean? We talked about that whole father situation. And I had brought up like, yo, it really doesn't matter if a parent's there, because you could be in the household and not really be in like being.
That's a fucking fact. You could be present as fuck. You could be there physically, mentally. You're not there. You're not a parent.
Yes, you know what I mean. And that. Yeah, it's sad to say, but it's just reality, right? A lot of parents are put in a situation, or they're in a situation. Yeah, fuck, man. They just can't help it. Like, just think, there's parents out there that never wanted to be a parent, right? There's people out there that's going through their own shit. They can't battle. They don't even have the mental capacity to fucking handle what's going on here, let alone deal with their kid. There's people out there that's depressed, hiding it for long, long times, and people that's alcoholics, people are addicted. It's so many things that, can affect a parent from not knowing what's going on, or, being actually present. Yeah. That's the reality of life. You know what I mean? That's why sometimes we really just got to give people their flowers when it's due. Like, yo, man, I see you, man. You're a great mom. You're a great mom, man. There's a lot of moms out here that wonder, yo, man, you're a great dad, man. I see what you're doing for the kids, man. Because, yo, I hate to say it, not all parents are good.
You don't hate to say it, nigga. You're telling the truth. Like, some parents are not good parents. That's why let's not even sugarcoat this shit. Like, some parents fucking suck. And I get that. And that's okay. And that could be just you know what I mean?
But it's not always their fault, though. You know what I mean? It's not always their fault. The reason I say this, the reason why I say this is, man, just think about it. All right. There's people that, brought up their young kids, this, that, and the third, and have mental issues, right? And then they feel like they can have a kid, but still they not really there. You know what I mean?
That's an exception. That's different. That's different than those who are. That's a different case.
Well, I'm saying this. I'm just saying that
there are those moments, though. Yes, I do agree with you on that. But there's still I don't think.
People are addicted to stuff. Drugs, alcohol, gambling. People get to a certain place in life, man, where they think they can be a parent, but, there's something they're craving. You know what I mean? Addiction that they're craving, man. Like, I don't know nothing about addiction. Only thing I know is just basketball. But they say, man, some of these addictions, man, they're
And I get that.
Oh.
So now it puts us in a predicament. So now I'm kind of shifting the topic, because now you're bringing into real, like, even more current news that's coming around. So with this new passing of removing Roe v. Wade, so banning abortions, from the parent standpoint, are you think we're going to have a lot more unfit parents, or what do you think it's? Do you think it's going to be like the Wild Wild West, and they're just going to be like gung ho around here, or is it like people? Because some people do have a chance, and I think, and I would like to say more often than so, some people will change for the better. Yeah. Whether they're, because at the end of the day, if, like your homie said, if you got a good heart, like last episode we was talking about the McDonald's situation, if you're in the right mind frame, you're talking about somebody who's innocent, who's looking up to you, right? Or just innocent, period. Maybe they're not looking up to you. Maybe they're, you know what I mean? Maybe they don't need this. It could be anything, but we're talking about an innocent life here. Do you think it's going to force more people to step up to the plate due to this banning, or do you think we're going to have a lot more Wild Wild West shit? It's going to be a lot more crazy shit. Fucking people trying to get rid of babies, like just doing weird, you know what I mean, dark shit. Like,
I think it's going to be a mixture of both. I think it's going to also force people to step up to the plate to be parents. Some people that really, and some people that really just don't want to, right? Just think about when you first, do baby checkups, they could tell you like, hey man, this kid might not, he might not be in the best health, right?
Right.
But you can't have an abortion. You can't get rid of it. So that forces some people to be in a predicament where they're already mentally checked out, like, dang, I don't know if I could do it. So it forces people to step up to the plate, sometimes for the good and sometimes for the bad. And then also you have people, like you said, that's kind of on the Wild Wild West shit where they fucking have a baby and they know they don't want the baby. Throw it away, put it in the trash can, do what. I remember, man, I watched something on the news. This lady had a baby. She had it at work. And she ended up just wrapping the baby up and just putting it in the trash can. And luckily, man, bless these homeless people. They were looking in the fucking garbage for food. And they heard something. They heard the baby. They like, yo, it was all on camera. They heard the baby, pick the baby up, call 911, man. I said, man, bless their soul, man. Bless their soul. Like, I'm fucking heartbroken over that. But,
yeah.
And then, there's going to be people out there that's, going to try to finesse the system. I heard, Netflix and other companies are going to be paying for their employees to buy a certain place. Yeah, to allow them to, have a voice. Yeah. So I think we'll have a mixture of both, but hopefully it's a lot of it is for the good, and it's not too.
Yeah, no, for sure, bro. Because at the end of the day, like you said, it's an innocent life. You know what I mean? And people don't really value what could be. And I think that's part of it, is like people don't know like how you were talking about earlier about people mentally checking out, say their baby's not in good health, or, you know what I mean? Something like that. Or say they're born with Down syndrome. That's always a big one.
Yep.
Some people don't think they're ready for it. You know what I mean? And I don't need, and me speaking personally for myself, I don't know if I'd be ready for it either, but I know for one thing, I'm going to figure it out. And I think that's always the part that always comes down to, is that people are always scared to figure it out. You know what I mean? America's built off complacency. Everybody's just cool where the fuck they at. Not everybody, but a good handful of us are cool where we're at. We're not trying to do too much, not trying to do too less, trying to get some freebies here, get some freebies there. But it's like, we don't really, when it comes to something different, we're so in shock of like, oh, what am I going to do? Or what am I going to, you know what I mean? How am I going to act? Like, I don't know. It just boggles my mind that, like, It's just a way of how the world is trending at this point. All these kids that are going to be birthed into this world, and they're going to be either they're going to not have a father, or they're not going to have a mother, or they're not going to have both parents. Like the rates are going to be even higher. That's what's scary to me.
The rates of what going to be higher.
Huh?
The rates of what is going to be higher.
Just I'm saying the rates of like that type of environment happening where it's like a single parent, like having a single family home is going to be, I feel like it's going to be higher. You know what I mean? Some kids are going to be, more kids are going to be put up for adoption, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Like, it just boggles my mind. Anytime I see a kid, and it's funny because like anytime I see a kid on TV that's dealing with some type of pain, whether they know it or not, yo, I tear the fuck up every time, bro. And this is a genuine fucking thought for me. Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, and that's just me speaking as like pre-parent book. I would be like, damn, that's fucked up. Like, that's just crazy. Like, how could you? But now as a parent, I always just think about my kids and like, what would have happened if I was in that situation? I was watching First 48 the other day, and there was this one episode, there was a murder. It was this boy, he was probably about 3 or 4. His mother, somebody had killed his mother and they had to go interrogate him, bro. I had to immediately turn the shit off. Bro. I couldn't watch it because it just, that my heart just breaks for those kids that have to be put in those tough situations where they didn't ask to be in this. You know what I mean? Like the problems that they.
Miles Bridges situation.
Yeah, I did.
That's kind of similar too, of his kid telling his grandma about like what his dad was doing.
That shit's it's just crazy. These kids don't know nothing from nothing. And fucking anyone that lays a hand on a woman, especially the mother of your children, you're a fucking lame. And that's coming direct from me. Cause I cannot stand, one thing I don't play about is babies and women, bro. Women do too much for us. They put their bodies through a lot of hoops. They jump through a lot of hoops and fucking with birth and all this other extra shit that oftentimes we don't really, it's kind of like, we basically take that, some of us take that shit for granted. And our kids do not deserve any type of hurt on that level. Our kids deserve to know what hurt is and understand, experience it within their world, their realm, right? It's like a toddler, like not getting what they want. That's the type of hurt they need to deal with. Not the fact that my son, my toddler child, is telling his grandmother that, oh, daddy hurts mommy at night, or daddy hurts mommy when I'm around. Like, that shit is just it's so disgusting to me. I'm sorry. It's so fucking disgusting. On so many levels, bro. That just doesn't, I couldn't imagine the woman that you lay next to, especially when she, and not to say it ain't no different if y'all not married, but if she's your wife, that's just like, what? You already made this commitment to her that you gonna be lifelong partners. You over here beating the shit out of her for no reason? Oh, cause she talking back to you. Now you got a little ego trip. Get the fuck out of here, bro. That shit, nah.
It's definitely a wild situation, and hopefully, Miles gets that thing situated and gets some help for what he's been doing. But back to the parents, that been, a deal with the kids been killing people.
But it ain't just the parents that's kids that have been killing people. It's also the parents who are dealing with kids who have been killed. Because this last situation.
I was just saying.
Yeah. I'm just saying in the sense of that, like, they always come out with the statement that, oh, he was a good kid. He never smoked weed. We've seen this shit from the beginning.
Yeah. Niggas is blazing in the bathroom. They got pictures of him ganged up.
Like, even remember the Mike Brown situation? You remember that? And God rest his soul. God rest his soul. I am there with you. You know what I mean? I feel for you. You know what I mean? Like, my condolences go to you and your family. But me thinking at that age of what the shit I was doing, it probably happened. He probably tried to take some shit from the store. It probably happened.
Mm-hmm.
But don't sit here and try to paint this narrative of like, it's not paint this narrative because he probably was. I don't know. Maybe he was. He was
probably painting a narrative because
narrative.
He probably is a great kid.
He probably a good kid, but don't sit here and try to say he just did some. Just say that.
But
say he's a great kid.
Hold on. What do you exactly want people to say to the public, my nigga? Like, you can't be saying like, "Yo, he's a knucklehead on the side." You gotta keep it.
What I will say is this: no, you're not. You can't say that. You're 1000% correct. Yeah. But what I will say is that he's a teenager doing teenage things. Like that's something as simple as that, or acting out in public. Like remember all the times you growing up. Well, I don't know about you because you were in Sperry's and shit like that. But I was like trying to be a motherfucking. I always had some shit to say at some point. You know what I mean? Like I always try to be, ooh, I'm tough. Da 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 da.
Nah, I hear you, but you got to think about it like this. This is all about the rollout for like the jewelry, the image. You can't portray any bad side to the public. You know,
I get that, but what I'm saying is, so how can you sit here and try to portray a fully good side when he's a typical teenager?
I'm saying,
you see,
yeah, exactly. So
so like, homie, like,
it's the asterisk for being a knucklehead, right? Because you said typical teenager.
So I don't think the statement of saying, oh, he was a church going boy and he was this and he was that is the most correct thing you can say. That's what I'm saying.
So isn't it the same thing for people that get killed in gangs? They get up on there like, yeah, man. Homie was a good dude. Whole time he killed people, sold drugs to people, did this, that, and the third. People always gonna say that.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yes, I'm on board with that. But don't sit here and don't. What I'm saying is, don't paint don't say something that's putting this person as if he was just so angelic when he was being a typical teenager.
I know,
you know what I mean?
Can't say.
I know. I get it. It's a tough pill to swallow. I get that. Yeah. What I'm saying is that do not, like, homie, the Jaden Walker situation. Apparently there was a gun that was in the car. He shot a bullet. That's just what the story is right now.
That's what they say. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard.
We haven't seen it.
Like that. I was hearing something like that. But yeah, you make a valid point about that. I talked about that.
You see.
It's like, yo, these people these days, just like, I don't even remember people giving a police officer the back talk. Yes, sir.
Nah.
Yes. What do you want? Nah. Okay. But now it's like,
what?
People be so extra, bro. So.
What's your badge number? What's your rank? How long have you been in the police force? No, I'm not giving you my license. You're going to take it out of my back pocket. I can't take my hands off the steering wheel. That shit is fucking stupid.
And you know one thing about cops, one of the statements they say when they're about to kill people is like, my life is in danger.
Yo, and
that can mean anything.
It doesn't mean, the statement doesn't mean anything, but when it comes down to it, if it's between me and you gotta go. Basically. And it's a fucked up thing to think about. Yes, they're
trained to kill. They're trained
to kill.
It's not I always tell Jasmine, I was like, man, listen, if you ever want to shoot somebody, you gotta shoot them below the waist, right? Because if you shoot them below the waist, it's second-degree murder. It's not attempt, you know what I mean? But cops, what they do is they shoot to kill. You
got a fucking bullseye right in the middle of your fucking sternum waiting for you if you try to fuck with them. And that's why it's so important to move a certain way these days, because I don't understand why. And it's the fucking movement of social media to me. I think that's what's causing this shit. Because we don't see none of this shit from the old heads. They just like, obviously, here, there's my driver's license, here's my registration. Give me this fucking ticket. I'm gonna see your ass in court if you do show up.
Yeah.
Now it's like everybody has to have that. Well, there's two things, but everybody has to have everything on camera. You know what I mean? The McDonald's situation. Everybody got to be on camera just so we can try to exploit somebody over billions of people.
Yeah.
Another thing is that because of the way shit was riding with police officers, they have body cam footage. So now TV is susceptible to seeing everything. Like, we see everything. Like, my mom sent me a video of the body cam footage from a cop that was chasing Jaden Walker in Ohio. I couldn't watch it. I'm so numb. I can't deal with that shit. Like, I can't deal with it. So it just doesn't make sense to me that people are so, now I gotta be against you. Like, not necessarily against you, because you could be against them and still comply. But what I'm saying is that, like, yo, just carry on with your day and get the fuck out of there alive. That's the key. Get out of there alive. You get out there alive, you're good. You made it another day. You know what I mean? And that's black, white, Hispanic, whoever you are. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. Granted, it's most prominent for African Americans, as we've been seeing throughout the news lately. But yo, just stay level headed. They don't want to do it. And a lot of these officers, and I think a lot of reasons why the officers kill is because they don't even want to kill. They're just nervous about it. They just don't know how the situation is going to go down. I think some of them, like, they're not confident in it. But that's another story. That's another topic. That's another topic. But yeah, no. Young men out there, make it home to see your parents. Just make it home. And those men out there who have kids, you may not need your life, but your kids do. Your kids need you. You know what I mean? They need your presence. So act accordingly. Just please. Like, that shit fucking, please, just do that one thing.
So, one more time, let me rally back to the parents.
Yes, I'm sorry. We just got off. Hey, it's just one of those episodes, bro. It's just been so much shit going on in the news that it's like, this is a Diaper Dads episode, but this is a Diaper Dads exclusive because we not even talk about being a dad half the time. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Rally back. Yes, bring us back in, please.
To the parents that, like, how they feel and how they don't know what their kid is going on with. Because I really believe at the age of 16, I feel like kids, they're starting to hide certain things.
Don't matter.
So you think, hold on, I know you said in the beginning you were saying, like, how did you not know your kid was depressed, this, and the third? So you think all these kids that did the mass shootings, they all were, like, depressed? Like, they had some...
No, I'm not saying... No, I was using depression as an example. What I would think is that for someone to commit such a heinous act, there was a trigger somewhere down the line that the parents missed that they should have been paying attention to. Like, for instance, and this is kind of like a bland example, but your child's typically coming home happy. For instance, perfect example, homie that did the shooting out in Chicago. He threatened to kill his whole family 2 years ago. All of a sudden now...
That shooting. What happened? Go break it down for me.
I didn't get the full details, but essentially this motherfucker was at your 4th of July parade. Sat on top of the building and let off 70 rounds. Hit. Oh, this was
4th of July?
This was 48 hours ago. Where the fuck you been at?
I didn't even.
Yes, he hit. He's 17 have been are pronounced dead. This motherfucker came down the building he shot from, dressed as a woman, hopped in the whip and drove off. Yep. And then they caught him, like, I don't even know how far away from it was. Look this shit up. But one of the things they said was that, like, yeah, 2 years ago, and they were like, oh, well, he threatened to kill his whole family. As a parent.
But, like, as a parent, I want to hear, like, what's the next step for that? Because I really want to know what's going on. Your kid says that, like, are you not shipping this nigga off to the feds? Like
no, I'm not shipping him off to the feds, but I'm gonna get him help. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to ship. I don't ship anyone that's in my immediate circle, meaning family, close friends, best friends, anybody. I don't ship them off to the feds for one. Let's just get that straight off the rip.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, yeah, you try to test me, see where I was at. Nah, off the
asking.
get go. No, but we're going to find you help. So for 2 years, there was not another sign between 2020 and now. Oh, maybe he's going through it with the pandemic. 2020, that's when this shit started, right? So 2 years ago, threatened to kill his family. Okay, that's a red flag. Now his whole demeanor's changed. That's another red flag. Oh, the people he once was hanging around, he's not hanging around no more. Now he's a fucking loner. That's another red flag. Like, there's so many red flags that probably have taken place in 2 years where it's like, oh, we're going to get you help versus, oh, well, we didn't see this coming. Oh, you know what I mean?
This is actually a perfect example for what you're saying. It's perfect. So let me ask you this, because the only people accountable for this situation are the parents, right? That's it. There's nobody else to hold accountable for this kid acting the way he did. What is something? Because I'm at a standstill where it's like nothing really can. I don't know what can really be put in place to help some of these kids, but like, what suggestion would you give to helping some of these kids that are going to potentially do mass shootings or did mass shootings for their parents, family? If
it was for me, it starts off with the initial conversation. You always got to start off with the initial conversation, right? Like, you always got to.
What is that looking like? What is that looking like?
I notice you've been at. Well, it's pertaining to this. No, wait, no. Because we're talking about. We were just talking about the Chicago example.
Yeah. Like,
you threaten to kill your family. You threaten to kill your family. Now, if Butler Cassidy came around his corner and told me I'm killing you, everybody in this house, there's a sense of urgency that's like, all right, well, what the fuck's going on? So there's the initial conversation, right?
Yeah, what is it looking like? What words are you saying? How are you talking to them?
I mean, you got to figure out what's going. You're going to ask them what's going. Nonchalantly, I'm going to ask them what's going on, and it may sound like it's not going to work, but it probably will. Like, I would probably sit back and just look at them, like, have a conversation. See what's going on in their world, right? Like, what's causing, especially after the fact. Like, okay, you're saying you're trying to kill all of us. Well, what is causing you to have these type of thoughts and these emotions? Because kids are telling. They're going to tell you, whether they're 2 or 18. They're going to tell you at some point. They may not tell you up front, but they're going to say something. They're going to say something, bro. They're going to say something with something that's. If they keep this shit under wraps, if you talk to them enough, they're going to say something.
Okay.
It's not just a simple conversation like, oh, well, he said this Tuesday, it's Wednesday, I'm going to talk to him about it, and then Thursday we're just going to forget about it. No, that's not what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. We're going to, because at this point I know something's wrong, and if you're not telling me nothing's wrong, I'm going to get to the root of this shit at some point.
Correct.
That's just my mentality. Like, you're going to tell me at some point. Or I'm about to find out. I'm
push it too much, though, to the point where he actually kills y'all.
Obviously, in my mind, he's already been pushed to that point.
So can you? He's.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get exactly what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? He's kind of saying he's already said he's going to do it. Like, I can go to sleep. He could say this today. I can go to sleep tonight and not wake up tomorrow.
Correct. You're definitely right. And that's the action part. He's already thought about it, but he followed through for the action. Like, could you push him to actually do that? You know what I mean? And I feel like
it's all in how you approach the situation. Like, if you're like overbearing with it and you're in their face, like, okay, I know something's wrong. Every 5 seconds you're acting about something's wrong. They're probably at some point they're gonna get ticked the fuck off. It's just like, if you tell me, if I notice something different about you, hey, what's going on?
Hold on, because I want us to stay on track with the kid, right? I want to know how.
I am staying on track with the kid, but I'm trying to give you an example. It's like, if I keep pushing you, at some point you're gonna break. essentially, you're gonna be like, all right, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it.
So this is why I want to stay on track with me, the kid, because I'm different from a 16 to 18-year-old, right?
I get that, but no, what I'm saying is from a 16 to 18-year-old standpoint, if you push somebody enough, they're gonna commit a crime. He's gonna act on what he's saying if you keep pushing at him. But it's all about your approach and how you say things. You can't just come around the corner. Are you sure nothing's wrong? I mean, you did tell us you was going to kill us the other day. Is something wrong? No, you got to figure out. You can't just come out direct with it. You got to come out in through natural conversation. What's going on? How's your simple shit? How's your day? What's going on? Oh, what? Not saying that we're going to ignore the fact that you just told me you was going to off me the other day, but what is, you know what I mean? What's going on in your life that's making you feel some type of way where you feel like you have to commit some type of violence towards family or others at this point? You know what I mean? Because it could be somebody else. Maybe it's something else that's triggering him in society. We don't know, but you will never know unless you fucking ask. And if you ask, stay consistent with, in the sense of like having natural conversation, not sitting here. Oh, nothing's wrong. Are you sure? Because just the other day you told me you were going to kill me, and yeah, 10 minutes later, oh hey. Are you sure there's nothing wrong with you? Like, I noticed you've been acting like, no. You get down to a natural conversation. Just like if you were to ask somebody how their day was going. Hey, what's going on? They're going to tell you at some point. If you get somebody comfortable enough, they're going to talk to you. Get them comfortable. They're going to talk to you. And if as a parent, if you have that bond already built where they feel comfortable to talk to you, then it makes it easier for the conversation to be had.
Thing is, and this is just my opinion, I feel like the connection is already lost. This nigga saying he's gonna off you, right?
Really?
So at this point, it's like, fuck. Like, to me as a parent, I don't even know where I would really start, right? Because number one, it's like, he could off me for even approaching the situation. He can off somebody else in the house for approaching the situation. You really don't know what to do because you don't know. It's the same thing like dealing with these young kids nowadays. You bump into a dude, yo, watch where you going. What you say? You don't know what's going on. This nigga might really off you because that's just how kids are these days. Like, people don't fight. People ain't going to, like, yo, argue with you no more. People just be stabbing and shooting people. So at this point, I'm so confused. Like, I'm probably scared myself because I'm like, damn.
So then now it raises another question because you brought up a valid point.
Yeah.
If the connection is lost, then why is it after the crime or after you've lost your child has happened? Do we all of a sudden let's just stick to the crime situation? Let's not bring you lost your child. If the connection is lost already, then why is it after the fact that these parents sit here and say that they know they put these statements out saying that they as if they know their child in and out?
So I think for this situation, I'm saying the connection is lost because this kid has said he's gonna off you, and that's what he did, right?
Oh, okay.
You get what I'm saying?
No, he didn't know. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yes,
I'm saying for this situation, like if a kid is saying he's gonna off the family. And then he, ends up killing people 2 years later. I'm saying for this situation, the connection's lost. Obviously, there's something you need to do to patch it up. But for some of these other situations, some of these kids are not saying that. I know the one.
So is the kid? So basically, the connection is still lost unknowingly.
Yeah, I think so. But also,
okay.
I'll give you another example. Did your mother know everything you posted on Facebook? She probably knows now, but was there a time where you would post things on any social media account and she did not know exactly what you're posting, right?
Until she found out, yeah.
Right. So
Facebook, we were friends. We've been friends for on
but like even Instagram or whatever you have, Twitter. The time where you post something on a social media and your mom she didn't see it. She probably.
But my mom didn't. My mom wasn't playing that social media shit until later on, and then we kind of like definitely had a conversation about it. But yes, I get what you, yes. So like, even after that conversation, like, there were some things that I put, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just getting to that point. So like, for example, the guy that killed the people in Buffalo, he had put on Facebook, like, I think a year before the incident, that he hated black people. He was going to kill black people, this, that, and the third. That's another example of him going through something and his parents not knowing that shit. Because
so no one in the okay, all right,
they reported him. The state did report him and all that stuff. So now the parents do know that. But I'm saying before, when he had that thought of writing that whole speech on Facebook, no one knew he felt that way, and they probably wouldn't have known that unless someone fucking reported him. Someone reported him, and then he got interrogated, and then the FBI did their investigation, and after that, it was just kind of dropped. And then, like a year later, he ended up killing those people in Buffalo. But I'm just saying, there's instance where kids once again are doing things that their parents are just not familiar with. They don't know, and I think it's because when you get to a certain age, and this is also for my parents too, you're not fucking hogging over them 24/7 like a fucking helicopter, because you would believe that the time that you put in for 18 years, 16 years, 15 years, whatever you did, your parenting has been good and they have the capability to do the right for them. But so much things happen. Niggas go to school. There's people that off themselves, kill themselves. That shit has nothing to really do with their parenting, but that shit probably has some shit to do with at school. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a lot of shit that I feel like, yes, you want to hold parents accountable, but there's a lot of shit that goes on at school, and there's a lot of shit that goes on after school that has a lot to do with how kids act. Bullying, cyberbullying and shit like that. Like, gee, niggas go to school and now they want to kill everybody for cyberbullying. Dad, what? Like, I'm really trying to think, like, damn, like, I didn't know the kids was talking like that over the game. Like, there's parents out there right now that they'll tell you, they be like, they sit in the room, they be like, damn, I didn't know the kids talk like that over the games. I just thought it was fucking games.
Yeah. Yeah.
These kids, you fucking nigga, I'll kill you right now.
Yo, that shit was a wild era. When that shit first came around, that shit was wild as fuck.
Even the one guy that played for the Miami Heat, he was playing, what's the game they be killing people on?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. He said a Jewish slur. I forgot what the word was. But he said it to the dude, like, just, not saying that's bullying, but that's a good example of people just saying shit over the internet, and you would never believe in a million years that he would say some shit like that. But he did, and people don't know what the fuck's going on behind that shit because you fucking an adult now. No one cares about fucking games and what other fucking 13-year-old boys in Nebraska say.
Yeah. Nah, bro, but that's a fucking fact. Like, that whole, that, dude, they gaming shit, yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I get that. I'm not sitting here expecting parents to know everything, that their kids are doing. You know what I mean? Cause that's just, one, it's overbearing. Two, it shows a lack of trust in your child. You know what I mean? And that's something that you should have. But when it comes to certain, it just, I guess my upbringing just makes me think differently, because my mom, she never knew exactly what I was doing. She still kind of had an,
yeah, she had an idea. Yeah,
she had an idea. You know what I mean? Like, she never let that part of it down. Yeah. You get me? Like, she never like, oh, he's like, I went to high school with some kids. They never saw their parents. They lived in these big ass houses, never saw their parents. We all smoked weed together. Like, we did some wild shit growing up. You know what I mean? Like, their parents never knew. Like, and all those kids that did that shit are all in fucking rehab right now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make, like, I don't understand how people can have, like, just not have that strong foundational bond up front, to where when it comes to certain situations where it's like, Mom, I'm not feeling right. I'm lost in the head. Like, it doesn't make it seem. Maybe those conversations aren't easy for some people to have, vice versa, or whatever.
My nigga, there's people out there that don't even know how to communicate. You know, they don't even know where the fuck to start with their kids. You let alone their fucking spouse, but they're just in a predicament where they're like, "Yo, my parents want me to get married. I thought having a kid was the right way." And now, you know, and there's some people out there that's probably just selfish. They realize, like, yo, their career means more to them than anything. That gives them the drive, going to work every day, doing what they need to do. They just leave that shit there, you know what I mean? Like, yo, like, yeah, this is my family, but this fucking career I love, man, this is all I know, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always everything's all, you don't know parenthood until you've been there, so you'll never know it. So it makes it kind of like it's like a catch-22. But nah, bro, it just, like I said, dog, it's been such a wild time in America lately. I don't even know where to begin, but it's like a lot of shit's been going on, and that's something that's been pressing on my mind for a minute now.
Let me ask you this. I had two questions. Do you think it's wild times because it's being recorded? And what do you think is worse? People doing mass killings or serial killers?
Okay. So to your first question. Oh, repeat the first question for me again. I had it. I lost.
Do you believe it's wild times we're living in because it's being recorded?
Oh, because of course, yes. Yes, I do. I think that if we didn't know, it would be we would have a blind eye to it. That I will say.
Okay.
I think that it wouldn't raise a lot of awareness that it has brought to the forefront as of the last 8 years. You know what I mean? With everything from the Black Lives Matter movement, like all that shit, like it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't brought to the forefront. You know what I mean? Especially like now, like CNN. I don't know if you guys have more of a prominent news back home because you're right next to DC. You kind of get that whole, you're around the major area. But my news is CNN. Like I watch CNN. CNN shows the most craziest shit sometimes. I just be thinking like, yo, 20 years ago, they was never saying this or showing this on TV.
To the news, it's
really?
Gonna be the world news, like actually, like what actually is going on, like around the world, not just the United States. So I feel like I feel like they just do that shit to just fucking irritate people. Like, yeah, even when COVID started, I would not turn the news around I would not turn the news station on around Jasmine because I knew
I never did. I did the same exact shit
because that shit would just like freak her out. This, that, and the third. I don't even watch the news anymore. If it's something that's actually that big, it'll find my way. Social media always, niggas will post that shit. People post that shit. But I feel like, yo, motherfuckers, they just be saying and doing all types of shit. Like, yo, COVID's like fucking barely gone. Niggas still talk about some other shit that has to do with COVID. Like, talk about how much fucking people been surviving. Talk about some other shit that's like really great for us to hear, like, oh man, like all these people have survived. There's only been like fucking one child to die, but that shit just be killing me. Oh, and then back to the second question: what do you think is worse, serial killers or mass shootings?
They're the same people to me.
Okay,
so they're both equal. They're both equal.
And the reason why I say that is I was like, it kind of ties back into what I was saying and living in a crazy time. So like, yo. Them serial killers, them niggas was wild.
First of all, the only difference between a serial killer and a mass killer is that you're calculated in literally everything.
Everything.
Like, I am a true crime fucking junkie. Like, I listen to that podcast. If I ain't listening to Diaper Dads, I'm listening to that shit. You feel me? Like, I'm tuned in. I just like to hear, you know what I mean? I'm always dialed in. But those serial killers, it's like, yo, you got to be a super calculated motherfucker. Mass shootings, you got to be calculated, but you're just aiming at a crowd of people, like you're a target, like a specific group of people.
Yeah.
whether it be race as just population wise. Like there's 100,000 people here. I mean, Las Vegas shooter just shot up a fucking concert. You know what I mean? Like that type of shit. But they're all the same people to me. One's just a little bit more calculated and dialed in than the other.
Okay.
What do you think?
I was asking it because I feel like it ties into the whole, social media thing. You know what I mean? I think those people that lived 30 years ago in the 70s, 60s, and 80s, they probably would say the same thing, what we're saying now, like, damn, we're living in some crazy ass times. But I have yet to hear one motherfucker talk about, yo, I was in the 70s, yo, niggas was killing people left or right, and people were disappearing, and it was only women that were fucking dying, and I have yet to hear anything about that. And I think we didn't even hear it because they only heard about that shit if they really watched the news or if they lived in that era. I mean,
it's awareness.
Right? So, like, if it never happened in your area, it's like, all right, man, whatever. Exactly. But, like, nowadays, it's like, just think about what other countries, just think about fucking, I'm just going to name a random ass country. Just fucking thinks what Australia thinks of America.
Just think about fuck just not the fuck Australia, but fuck just saying just Australia. Just think about everybody else that looks at us right now. They probably like we're the last like 4 years, 3 years. We've been the laughing stock of this motherfucker. Longer than that because it's 2016. But even, I don't know, bro. They look at us like we're crazy. They have to. And I don't even understand why motherfuckers would come here so bad because it's just like this shit is not land opportunity with no freedom.
No,
you're
sure. You're saying that because you're from America, but I'm guaranteeing you, if you lived in other countries, you would want to come to America. I'm
sidebar. If you couldn't be, if you weren't from America, what country would you be from?
I'm Jamaican.
Okay, besides those two.
Oh,
if you had to choose,
I would definitely want to be, if I could, a country, I would want to be from Brazil.
The one place.
What about you?
No, I'd be. Yo, I have like. I really wish, like, if I had to be from a different country. Oh, that's a hard choice. That's a hard question. I asked the question I can't even fucking answer. I'm game to be from the UK.
You are?
I'm game to be from the UK. I'm game. Fuck yeah.
You want your peas?
Yeah. I'm on my central C shit, you feel me? That's a given. But if I had to really choose, that's so hard, bro. I just always say, like, me with a UK accent, bro, I'd be fire. I'd be fire.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out Central C. I just got hip to his shit too, like a couple months ago. Oh yeah. Don't worry. We vibing. Don't worry. We vibing on Friday. No worries. I got you.
Yeah, classic. They were trying to say he was like an industry, like plant, but that nigga be killing shit, bro. That nigga's tapes. That nigga's two of his tapes is I don't bump his shit no more because he hasn't put out anything recently, but his joint was knocking. That loading joint, that joint with at one point,
yeah.
That joint, when that joint come on. That joint be killing. Loaded joint.
Yeah.
Oh man. He's close.
Like I said, yo, if I had to, but that'd be one of them. But if I had to choose a different one outside of that,
what would you pick?
This nigga said fucking Brazil. I can't get over that. No, fucking, you not speaking Portuguese, bro. Yeah, I'd probably be from like New Zealand or some shit like that.
Lord.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'm my Jason Momoa shit. You feel me?
Nigga.
Yeah, I'm trying to get yacked, get the long hair, beard, swinging on my Moana shit. You feel me? Wait. That's my shit. That's a new movie in the household. I'm glad we brought a little bit light to our conversation because I've always had that like question for people like, yo, if you could be from a country, what would it be? Where would you be from? And I don't even know what people would say. Australian too. I used to be mad jealous of James growing up. Shout out James, my Aussie brother. I used to be mad jealous because that nigga had a dual citizenship. Left, never came back.
I don't like black people over there though.
I don't know if that's the case, but they do like light skinned motherfuckers. Apparently, he's about to get married, and
he got married.
No, he's about to get married. He's getting married this month. That's in a couple of weeks. Matter of fact, I haven't talked to James' son. Yeah, bro.
Is this Australian?
Yeah. So Jimmy met his mother over there. When he was playing pro, Jimmy played pro ball in Australia, and then and they came back here. But James went over there after college to go play ball, and then he just ended up staying.
He ain't never come back.
I don't fucking blame him. Shit, he left and he never. I seen James like a year before I left, and then COVID hit, and then COVID got better over there, and he was looking. He was like, "Yo, what's going on over there?" I'm like, "Bro, you don't even want to fucking know." But yeah, no, shout out to James. He's getting married this week. Or not this week, this month, rather. Shout out to my man JP. He getting married this month, too. Yeah, the homies are stepping in. They stepping up. They about to start having kids soon. So they definitely got something to tune into. Yeah.
Dang.
He getting married.
You going to the wedding?
It's in Jamaica.
He is Jamaican. No. Yeah, he is Jamaican.
Yeah. He'll be there. He might come slide on us Friday. Come kick it with us.
I told him I didn't even know these niggas had ladies.
That's how, but that's just your MO though, because you just be out the way. I've learned how calculated, like you not calculated, but I learned how you move. Like you just change it out the way. You pop up.
I just know.
It's always with you. It's like it's always love when you're around, but when you're not around, you're not really paying attention to it.
Don't know. Like I was just thinking about that the other day about somebody. I'm like, dang, yo, like I don't even know, and like I don't know, like I really don't.
You just don't know.
I just don't know. Like I really don't. Like Aaron and them went to Cancun, and I saw JP was in one of the videos. Aaron was in. I had to ask Z. I was like, who was getting married? He's like, oh, what's the name? Aaron's man, the coach. I'm like, you mean big homie, light skin homie? They're like, yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't even know you fucking had a girl.
Yeah, but that's just where, and you know, I'm starting to get on that wave too. Well, I guess because I moved away from home, but like even now, like I just so focused on what I got in front of me that's like anything that happens around me is like I don't really.
Yo, I literally like it's you, my dudes from West Virginia, and the other dudes in my group chat, and Josh. Yo, I talked to Josh yesterday for an hour.
Shout out to Josh. Yo, we gotta get Josh on the pod. We gotta stop playing around.
Yo. This is the last thing because we gotta wrap up. But me and Josh talked yesterday. He called me at 9:30. We talked all the way till 10:30. Just talking.
Yeah, shout out, Big Woms, Big Womsley. Yeah, no, we gotta get. I gotta reach out to him. That's definitely good old Josh. Every time I think about Josh's name, I just laugh. Because Josh is just a solid dude all the way around, man. Like
that's my
for sure. But look, though, let's wrap this joint up. Listen, Diaper Dad fam, thank you guys for tuning in again. We will catch you guys again next week. Instagram, TikTok, we on that bitch too. YouTube, you'll see our beautiful faces there. And Apple Podcasts, you'll hear our amazing voices. So make sure you guys tune in. Diaper Dads Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We out.
Peace.